Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the United States, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this sixth episode of Most Haunted Hotels in the United States, we delve deeper into the shadowy corridors and opulent ballrooms of hotels whose walls have absorbed decades, if not centuries, of love, betrayal, violence, and despair. These establishments are more than just places to rest your head. They are monuments to human passion, tragedy, and the supernatural forces that linger long after checkout time. Hotels, by their very nature, are transient spaces. They are sanctuaries for travelers seeking refuge, romance, or adventure. But what happens when those journeys take a darker turn? When laughter turns to screams, joy to sorrow, and life to death, the energy of these moments becomes trapped within the fabric of the building itself. From grand historic landmarks to secluded roadside inns, each hotel carries its own unique story, a tapestry woven with ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and unexplained phenomena that challenge our understanding of reality. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted hotels across the United States, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of luxurious suites soaked in scandal, explore eerie basements where secrets were kept, and tread cautiously through halls teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of America's most notorious hotels, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Stanley Hotel, a grandeur shrouded in shadows perched majestically atop the hills of Estes Park, Colorado, the Stanley Hotel stands as one of the most iconic and haunted hotels in the United States, a sprawling neoclassical masterpiece that has inspired countless tales of terror, including Stephen King's seminal novel The Shining. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, co-founder of the Stanley Motor Carriage Company, the hotel was envisioned as a luxurious retreat for affluent travelers seeking respite amidst the breathtaking vistas of the Rocky Mountains. With its stately columns, crystal chandeliers, and meticulously manicured gardens, the Stanley quickly became a beacon of elegance and exclusivity. Yet beneath its polished veneer lay a darker narrative, one marked by tragedy, betrayal, and an enduring legacy of spectral encounters. One of the most pervasive legends tied to the Stanley involves Room 217, said to be haunted by the spirit of Elizabeth Wilson, a former housekeeper who met a tragic end during a gas explosion in 1911. According to local lore, Elizabeth was cleaning the room when the accident occurred, leaving her severely injured but miraculously alive. Her presence is said to linger in the space, manifesting as gentle yet unmistakable signs of her continued duties. Guests staying in room 217 frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off without cause, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of fresh linens lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their beds neatly made, despite having left them in disarray. Another prominent figure in the Stanley's haunted lore is believed to be Lord Dunraven, the original landowner upon which the hotel was built. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "This is my home," and "Leave me alone." Witnesses described seeing a shadowy figure resembling Lord Dunraven pacing anxiously near windows, his expression frozen in perpetual irritation. Some speculate that Lord Dunraven remains tethered to the hotel due to resentment over losing his land, while others believe his spirit seeks to maintain dominance even in death. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a maintenance worker who swore he saw a group of shadowy figures huddled together in the corner of the room, their faces gaunt and hollow. Theories abound that the basement harbors residual energy from countless acts of violence and despair inflicted upon its vulnerable residents. Modern-day investigations into the Stanley's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including room 217 and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Help me," and "I can't breathe." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Stanley continues to draw thrill-seekers and history buffs alike. For those brave enough to book a stay, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural grandeur or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Stanley promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. The Crescent Hotel and Spa, echoes of elegance and despair nestled in the picturesque town of Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The Crescent Hotel and Spa stands as a haunting testament to the duality of human ambition and fragility, a majestic Victorian-era structure that blends luxury with tragedy. Opened in 1886, the hotel was designed to cater to the elite, offering panoramic views of the Ozark Mountains and unparalleled service in an era defined by opulence. Its limestone facade, sweeping verandas, and ornate interiors exuded sophistication, drawing visitors from across the country. Yet beneath its refined exterior lay a darker history, one marked by deception, illness, and untimely deaths that have left an indelible mark on the property. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Crescent involves the ghost of Dr. Norman Baker, a fraudulent cancer doctor who operated the facility as a hospital during the 1930s. Dubbed the Castle in the Sky, Baker's establishment promised miraculous cures using unconventional methods such as colored light therapy and herbal concoctions. However, investigations revealed that many patients received little more than placebos, leading to widespread suffering and mortality. Visitors exploring the hotel today report hearing faint cries emanating from empty rooms, accompanied by the smell of antiseptic and burnt herbs. Some claim to see a pale figure clad in a white coat walking briskly down hallways, clutching medical charts before vanishing without explanation. Another prominent figure in the Crescent's haunted lore is believed to be Theodosia Burr Alston, daughter of Vice President Aaron Burr. According to legend, Theodosia disappeared under mysterious circumstances in 1813 while traveling aboard a ship along the Atlantic coast. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a female entity whispering phrases like, "I'm lost," and "Take me home." Witnesses described seeing a translucent figure dressed in period attire gazing mournfully out of windows, her expression filled with longing. Some speculate that Theodosia's spirit lingers due to unfinished business, unable to find peace until reunited with her family. The hotel's fourth floor, once home to patient wards during Baker's tenure, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area often describe hearing muffled conversations and the sound of footsteps echoing through empty hallways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably, chairs scrape against floors without visible cause. One particularly unnerving incident involved a guest who swore she saw a young girl playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the girl may have been a victim of illness or neglect during the hospital's operational years, forever trapped in the confines of its upper levels. Modern-day investigations into the Crescent's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the fourth floor and Dr. Baker's office. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique medical equipment believed to have been used in unethical procedures. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which captured disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Crescent continues to draw thrill seekers and history buffs alike. For those brave enough to book a stay, the opportunity to encounter its spectral inhabitants adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural splendor or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, glamour meets ghosts in the heart of Los Angeles, where dreams are forged and shattered beneath the glittering marquees of Hollywood Boulevard, stands the historic Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Since opening its doors in 1927, this Art Deco gem has played host to some of the entertainment industry's brightest stars and darkest secrets. Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, Charlie Chaplin, and countless other luminaries once graced its halls, leaving behind not only memories of glamour but also whispers of something far more sinister. One of the hotel's most enduring legends revolves around room 928, said to be haunted by the ghost of a jilted lover who took her own life within its confines. Guests staying in this room frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of perfume lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. Others describe hearing soft sobbing emanating from the bathroom, only to discover it empty upon investigation. Another spectral resident of the Roosevelt is believed to be none other than Marilyn Monroe herself. The screen icon famously lived in the hotel during the early days of her career, and her presence is said to linger in the suite she once called home. Housekeeping staff have reported seeing a blonde woman dressed in vintage clothing gazing wistfully out of the windows, disappearing when approached. Guests lucky enough to stay in the same suite often wake up to find items rearranged or their belongings inexplicably moved, as if the starlet were tidying up after them. But the hauntings extend beyond individual rooms. The hotel's famed Cinegrill nightclub, now converted into a private event space, is rumored to be a hotspot for paranormal activity. Patrons seated at Table 9, located directly beneath the stage, have complained of sudden drops in temperature and the sensation of icy fingers brushing against their necks. Performers who take the stage above swear they can feel unseen eyes watching them, while staff members recount stories of glasses shattering without explanation and chairs scraping across the floor when no one is nearby. Even the hotel's elevators are not immune to the supernatural. Employees and guests alike have reported instances of the lifts stopping unexpectedly on random floors, opening to reveal empty hallways bathed in an eerie silence. On occasion, disembodied laughter echoes through the carriages, accompanied by the faint strains of jazz music, a nod to the hotel's heyday when live bands entertained patrons late into the night. Despite its haunted reputation, the Hollywood Roosevelt remains a beloved landmark, attracting tourists eager to glimpse a piece of Tinseltown history. For those brave enough to spend the night, the promise of encountering a Hollywood legend, or something less benign, is part of the allure. Whether you're drawn by the glamour of old Hollywood or the thrill of the unknown, the Roosevelt offers an unforgettable experience where the line between past and present blurs, and the spirits of those who came before refuse to fade quietly into oblivion. The Queen Mary, a floating nightmare among the United States haunted hotels, few are as iconic, or as chilling, as the RMS Queen Mary. Docked permanently in Long Beach, California, since 1967, this once majestic ocean liner has transformed from a symbol of luxury travel to a vessel steeped in tragedy and the supernatural. Built in 1936, the ship served both as a glamorous cruise liner and a troop transport during World War II, ferrying thousands of soldiers across perilous waters. However, it was during these wartime voyages that the first seeds of horror were sown. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in 1942. When the Queen Mary accidentally rammed and sank her escort ship, the HMS Curacao, off the coast of Ireland. Over 300 lives were lost in the disaster, many of whom were trapped inside the smaller vessel as it broke apart. Survivors claimed to hear screams coming from beneath the waves, a haunting sound that has reportedly echoed aboard the Queen Mary ever since. Today, Visitors staying overnight in the Shipturn Hotel often recount hearing faint cries and splashing noises near the lower decks, particularly around areas associated with the collision. But the tragedies don't end there. During its service years, the Queen Mary became the site of numerous deaths under mysterious circumstances. One such tale involves the spirit of a young girl named Jackie, who allegedly drowned in one of the ship's pools. Guests frequently report seeing a childlike figure playing near the now closed first-class pool, giggling softly before vanishing into thin air. Others describe feeling an inexplicable coldness or seeing wet footprints appear spontaneously on the tiled floor. Perhaps the most unsettling presence aboard the Queen Mary belongs to John Petter, a crew member crushed to death in the ship's engine room in 1966. According to legend, Petter's restless spirit continues to wander the narrow corridors of Boiler Room No. 1, his final resting place. Paranormal investigators have captured chilling EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, recordings in which disembodied voices whisper warnings like, "Get out," or "Leave me alone." Staff members tasked with maintaining the area speak of tools moving inexplicably, lights flickering without cause, and the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. Overnight stays on the Queen Mary offer brave souls the chance to experience these phenomena firsthand. Many guests recount waking up to the feeling of someone touching their arm, or hearing heavy footsteps pacing outside their door. Some even claim to see shadowy figures standing at the foot of their beds, only to vanish when approached. These encounters are so frequent that the hotel offers guided ghost tours, allowing curious visitors to explore the darker side of its storied past. Yet, despite, or perhaps because of, its reputation as a hotspot for paranormal activity, the Queen Mary remains a magnet for thrill-seekers and history buffs alike. Its blend of elegance and eeriness makes it one of the US's most sought-after destinations for those willing to test their courage against the unknown. As we continue our exploration of haunted hotels, few places rival the sheer magnitude of spectral energy contained within the steel hull of this floating nightmare. Patterns across haunted hotels, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of America's most notorious hotels. From the opulent halls of the Stanley to the somber suites of the Crescent, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of tuberculosis sanatoriums to the shadowed basements of psychiatric institutions, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic hotels, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hotels, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each hotel's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted hotels captivate us? What is it about haunted hotels that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or failing that, to ease our passing. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted hotels exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted hotels contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted hotels. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum or sanatorium as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted hotels become microcosms of larger fears, the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted hotels appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted hotels attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted hotels lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through America's most haunted hotels to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of America's haunted hotels yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.